What is a movie that you highly recommend?
Hmm. Not as much of a curveball as the last question, but um, what did I just watch? I can't even remember what I just watched. Now I'm drawing blanks on movies. I guess maybe if we're being cliche, Civil War, uh, Captain America: Civil War. If we're just going based off of that, or actually Dangerous Minds. Dangerous Minds. It has a lot of very problematic tropes and a lot of very
Yeah.
problematic just dynamics where it's the white savior thing.
Yes.
But it's such a good, stupid movie because there are such clear villains with the principal. If you haven't seen the movie, I won't spoil it, but if you have, you know why the principal is the villain. And all the kids come around to loving the white savior that is Catwoman. So, Michelle Pfeiffer.
She was Catwoman.
Yes.
You know what's
And you
wild? When I only saw her as Catwoman, she was just this weird blonde chick.
mhm.
But now I realize who she is, and I'm seeing she's pretty much the same character in all her movies.
Well, not in What Lies Beneath. Do you remember that one
She
with Harrison
was
Ford?
she was whoo. That was a good movie though.
That was a good movie.
I did like What Lies Beneath. That
That
was a
was a
wild
really good
movie.
movie. In the bathtub
Yeah.
when she had to turn the water or pull the drain with her little toe, remember? Her little big toe.
I was like, oh, she's not gonna get out. Oh no, this is a movie about a white woman. Oh, she's gonna make it. It's fine.
But yeah, the movie I
Yeah.
would recommend, Dangerous Minds. Yes, it's a terrible movie. I know it's stupid. But if you are of the 90s, then you should watch it so you can have a little time capsule and go back in
Tell
time.
me why are we so blind to? I wonder if LV had a record deal after that.
Who's LV?
The
Is that the
person
guy
who
who's
did
singing
the
in the song?
course. Yes.
Really? I didn't
Yes.
know he had a name. I just, you know how like in the 90s they would have those songs where somebody's singing the hook and you like they weren't
You just
even.
didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't. It didn't say like featuring such and such like it does now. It would just be like, okay, this is the studio voice or like the person who's just in the studio doing like the demos and stuff. It's like, oh, I'll sing or I'll rap over this beat and we'll just keep the person who was singing that hook, right?
That's true. That's true. But his name, now you're making me second guess myself. I'm pretty sure his name is LV.
Been spending most our lives living in the gangster's paradise.
I feel like I'm correct.
That was my older brother's the first album that he got. I remember that Christmas he got Coolio's album and he got his first stereo, and I thought he was so cool for that. Kalian, no, featured artist LV.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I was
LV is
worried a
still
little bit.
alive.
I questioned myself just a
That
little
man is
bit.
64 years old now. He'll be
He
65.
gave us a great hook though.
He's from LA, so okay. Represent.
Makes sense. It makes sense. Well, hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Take a Space Podcast. I am your host Leah, and this week I am joined by Jason. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Happy to be here.
The last couple of episodes I have been listening to, editing, and really going over what I want to talk about this season. And or season. This show doesn't have seasons. We just have talks.
They do now.
But this period of time for these sets of episodes, this series, I thought it might be best to talk about situational awareness, like emotional intelligence, and people learning how to essentially read the room.
It's an underrated skill and an underrated character trait. A lot of people
It
just
is.
go in guns blazing.
I'm gonna say what I want to say, but you do understand that you're talking in front of your manager.
I have no filter. I have no filter. I keep it real.
Oh my gosh, my mouth to brain filter or brain to mouth filter is broken.
I say what's on my
So,
mind, okay?
I can't help it if you can't handle my honesty. No, you're just being mean. You're just being an a-hole right now. Like you're not being there's no productive conversation that you have had. You are just calling things out in a very rude way
Hmm.
and being disrespectful to a group of people for the sake of keeping it real. Air quotes.
Air quotes.
But I feel like with us having time to break away from society as a whole
Hmm.
because of this whole like Pangea that we were in, the panorama, a
Pandemonium.
pancake. Yes, the
B2K.
pandemonium.
B2K is hot.
Since we've taken a break from society and we didn't have rules. It was almost anarchy for a while. Some people
Seems like
tried
it.
to make it anarchy. Um everyone got to, or a lot of people, I won't say everyone because everyone's not in the same boat, but people really got to take stock of their life and understand what they like, what they don't like, where they want to be, and where they are now. And especially today, I am seeing more people. I'm so grateful to those people who are talking about imposter syndrome, or they're talking about standing up for themselves, or they're talking about how they show up in their space
Hmm.
and how they establish themselves with their colleagues, with their peer group, or in any other social situation. And I think it's hard, but it's a practice skill to be able to say I'm not comfortable with this and be
Right.
okay with that. Or I would prefer us doing this. And knowing that people are going to give you back talk,
Hmm.
even if it's something as simple as like, um, revoking your black card because you don't like or watch The Color Purple,
Hmm.
or you don't know how to play spades. What do you mean? Having those kinds of
These have happened to you.
conversations.
These conversations
Just,
have come up,
you
huh?
know, these conversations. I don't like The Color Purple. I have seen it, but I'm just like,
It's like if I don't have to watch it, I won't. I like the
I
movie, but for you, it's like if you don't have to watch
Really?
the
You
movie,
like it? Let's
yeah,
let's take a pause for the cause. What makes
yeah.
you like the movie? Because you're the second guy who I've talked to that's like,
Hmm.
yeah, I really like it.
I like the narrative of it. I like movies where it sort of starts from very early on and walks you up to a certain situation, and then I like the resolution at the end is her pointing at him and going on her merry way. Um, so yeah, I think the storytelling in it is good. Good. I like it. I like the storytelling in it.
That's almost
Good
the
is
exact
subjective.
same thing that I'm gonna call you out. Drake said that he loves about it. It is
See,
a victory lap for Celie, and everyone
sounds
had
like
come up at the end, and I was just like,
sounds like Drake knows what's up.
no. My thing is, I don't really like it because and I think it has to do with like the trauma porn that we are
Yeah.
exposed to on a regular basis. So I don't like that idea of we have to struggle to see some semblance of its success,
Hmm.
because when you've been beaten down low enough, people can give you a piece of bread and you'll treat it like it's steak.
Yeah,
And I'm just like,
I
but
can see that.
no, no, that's why I have an issue with, like, and don't get me wrong, at the time I can understand why people would have liked the movie and things like that, but there were like no good men in the
No, it was like a Tyler Perry. Well, the opposite of a Tyler Perry movie, where in
movie.
Tyler Perry's
Yes.
movies there are no good women. Think
I don't
about
still. Oh
think
my
about Medea's
gosh.
big happy family. Um,
Which one is that one?
the one with Bow Wow and Tiana Taylor.
Oh, you know
Yeah, so you
what?
had Tiana Taylor with the how she was acting. You have the woman who was just hated her mother, and so she was. I mean, in every Tyler Perry movie, there's a light skinned woman who hates her mother. So there's that too.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
I don't know why his I don't know how we get out of that color coded
We have to break
storytelling.
Tyler Perry. That's
We
that's the move.
I don't like the color coded storytelling where it's like, well, the fair skinned people are going to be more successful. They're the ones who get to overcome their drama. The
Hmm.
dark skinned people are the ones who cause the drama and they will always be downtrodden or whatever.
Hmm.
I just don't I don't like the color coded way of storytelling in like within our own movies.
Yeah,
I'm like you could have cast anyone.
it's a
You could
conscious. At some point, or a point long ago, it became a conscious decision to maintain that casting those casting choices and to
and it's
perpetuate it.
I feel like it's kind of now where life is imitating art in our society.
Hmm.
Where now on social media there are these color coded conversations and there are these well, you got to get with so and so, and if you want to be successful, you have to be with so and so. And dark skinned women are this, and light skinned women are this, and dark skinned men are blah 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 blah, but light skinned men are da da da. And it's just like I can understand if we have some jokes going back and forth, like, oh
Right.
my gosh, he got his hair cut. Oh, why he acting light skinned and all these other things. There's some jokes that go, back and forth, but I feel like when we impose those ideas as rules
Hmm.
and we create divisions where there need not be none. There should not. Okay, I don't like the way I worded that at all. We
There need
create
not be none.
we create divisions.
Unnecessary divisions.
There you go. These divisions
Whew. A little
cause
shaky.
it a little bit. Let me tell you, this sun, it's the sun.
Yeah, the
That's
sun.
what.
Just for reference, I don't know if she'll keep this in here, but the sun has been shifting and blinding her for about 20 minutes now. It's just been going back and forth. Once she rests and once she gets some reprieve from it, it's just haha, I'm back. Don't get comfortable. So she's going through it with the sun.
That's listen,
So
and I'm
there
just
need not be
like,
none sun. There need not be none.
I really, I really want the sun to make up its mind because I feel like it's right at my window,
It's
knocking on
like
it.
Sarah Connor in Judgment Day when
Yes. Oh
when
my
she's at the fence.
gosh. Oh, I'm just being just. Yeah, I feel like this sun is ridiculous. Like the clouds are not being of any help. There's
No,
a bunch of clouds that are just like sitting in the wings, but
look,
none of them have come to kind of protect me from the sun.
it's Saturday. The clouds are like, look, we're off. Fend for yourself. So
Yeah, I feel
you're on
that.
your own. You got your transitions.
Yes, that's
Are
why
they
I'm wearing
helping?
these.
Okay.
My eyes can be open now. Before my eyes were just like peering to protect from the sun.
Yeah.
But
UV
it's better
damage is no
now.
joke. That's good.
Huh?
So UV damage to the retinas is no joke.
Listen, I'm not. I want to be able to see for a long time. I want to be like as I'm around. I don't know how long my life is gonna be, but I want to be able to enjoy every minute of it.
There need not be none blindness. There need not
I
be none.
really, I really want you to let that go. I really need you to let that go because I feel like you're gonna keep hitting on that. I feel like you're gonna keep, and then I'm gonna have to go through every part of the
I don't
episode
think
where
I
you say
can.
that. I think you can.
I'll try.
You won't.
I will. I promise. That didn't sound sincere, but I
No,
promise I'll
it
try.
didn't sound sincere at all.
I'll try it. These my hands. Nothing's crossed. My toes aren't crossed either.
If you can cross your toes, you have long toes. But
Yeah,
anyway,
you know, I
back
do.
to the tropes that Hollywood. Um,
Actually, that was an aside too, because remember we were talking about
we were talking about emotional awareness and things like
yeah.
that, but I feel like the it's important to also talk about the divisions, especially when we do like when I just saw how many people are um are defending Kevin Samuels and the like, all that crew about like, oh, a woman needs to be this, and once you get a certain age, like you're essentially out of commission. We need to take you around back and shoot you because why are you living after 35? And then we have like that. I mean, I'm
I
essentially
actually, I actually have not seen anything about that conversation because we have different like algorithms and stuff, and
yeah.
so I haven't seen anything about that. Please Give me a Cliff Notes version of what's going on there.
Oh, okay. So Kevin Samuels is um a consultant of sorts for high value men, men who make more than 250,000 a year.
I
Okay?
already take issue with the term high value men. I know that's
Yes.
not how you're phrasing it, but yeah, okay.
That's if you look at his website, I did it so you don't have to. He is a consultant of sorts for high value men, helping
Okay.
them dress, present themselves, etc., etc., etc. He's based out of Atlanta.
Leftover woman. That
He
is.
became very he became pretty popular for his divisive talks regarding um women dating high value men, because if you're over a certain age, over a certain dress size, if you have kids, essentially if you have lived any life
Mm-hmm.
after the age of 23,
Mm-hmm.
you are no longer eligible to date a high value man. A high value man does not want you. And a lot of women subjected themselves to verbal abuse from this man by getting on his platform and trying to tell him how wrong he is, because women will say, I earn $200,000 a year, I have 2 degrees, I have my own business, etc., etc. Why is it that I can't have a man that matches me? And he said, because the man that matches you is not looking for you. And you will never, because you're 41 with a 12-year-old. No, they don't want that kind of baggage. What dress size do you wear?
What about the
Oh,
man that's
okay.
41 and has a bunch of kids, or has kids too, has a 12-year-old, even if he's a high value man? What makes him think that somebody would want?
I don't understand
Suspend
why,
logic, right?
but so here's the issue that I take with people, with Kevin Samuels and people who follow him, people who and people who preach this like misogynistic way of
Subscribe to that, yeah.
thinking. I don't understand I don't understand why they do it, but treating a person like a number or
Mm-hmm.
like your resource is wrong for
Mm-hmm.
so many reasons. But you're creating a transactional relationship
Right.
even before a relationship is developed. There's no there wouldn't be any passion, any love or respect for the other person. It's just like, what is it that you bring to the table?
Right.
If that's all you're worried about, and mind you, there, at some point when you're deep into it, when you before you jump off the deep end in a relationship, it is important to have a conversation about, like, what are your wants, what are your needs, um what are you willing to give to this relationship to make it work,
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature. But the whole, what are you bringing to the table, and that whole, I feel like there is a subset of people who thrive off of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They live in constant dysfunction of women should do this, and there's also women who say men should do this,
Mm-hmm.
and if they can't do XYZ, I'm going to find somebody else who will. And it's like, well, do you even want a relationship? What does that even look like? I don't get it. I really don't understand it. I really don't. I don't understand why people treat other people as if they're cars, or treat other people as if they're property values, or treat other people as if they're some kind of monetary asset that appreciates or depreciates depending on what's attached to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm.
I don't have, yeah. There's
Yeah.
no there's no rules around who you date or what you like. There are norms, yeah, but as far as like somebody who's making um $60,000 and dating someone who's making $200,000,
If it
like that,
works for them, then it
right?
works, right?
I don't get how everyone now, how many single people there are, but then how many people are just like, well, I need someone who can do X. Like there was a
Yeah,
conversation where this man was just like, he was asking this woman, you know, what would you do for me? And she was just like, I make your house a home. As a companion, I would make your house a home, or as your girlfriend, as your wife, whatever, I would make your house a home. And he
right.
was like, what do you mean? She was like, I clean. He was like, that's $100 a week. What do you mean? Like, I can hire somebody who cleans. I can hire
Hmm.
somebody to do what you say that you can do. And I was just like, where did we put our elders? Where, like, this is why I'm like so upset that we tried our best to do away with the village, because these people are running around unsupervised, trauma filled, and causing havoc just everywhere.
Everything is a formula. It's like everything is supposed to fit into a box. Okay, if I meet this, this, and this, then I'll have success. Or if I do this, this, and this, I'll have success. If I have this person with these specific traits, then it's going to work out exactly how I did for this person. And
Right.
it doesn't work like that. It just does not, because that discounts every other aspect of what makes any relationship, whether it be a friendship, brotherhood, sisterhoods, familiar relationships, romantic relationships. It discounts the spirit of what makes those things work, which is that some people are gonna have more, some people are gonna have less, but do you click? Like, does it work?
Right.
Like, you can have everything right on paper with fitting in the formula, but if you hate that person's guts, who is that benefiting? Right?
Oh, because I just have this person at home.
Look, I'm a high value man, okay? And you just made the cutoff at 34. So, congratulations to you. You are in the running. It's like some beauty pageant or something where it's like a cutoff date. Like, and to announce yourself or to deem yourself a high value person, I take issue with that because it's like, honestly, you are nobody. You're not important, right? You're not
How
important.
am
You're
I?
not.
What are you supposed to be providing at this point?
You may be a high earning person, but to use the term value makes it seem like other people or other things aren't valuable. Yes,
Right.
I'm latching onto the phrasing, I'm latching onto the words because I like words and words have power. If you use the term high value, that is saying that every other man is low value. You're saying that the women who don't match that or meet that requirement, meet that age requirement, that they are automatically low value because they turned 35 yesterday, right?
Right.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And it's all part of some kind of weird social construct that I guess they're trying to repopularize or make popular. I don't know. Was it ever popular? It seems like it's like in the shadows at this point, and it's starting to rear its head more.
Yeah, I feel
Right?
like because so many people have, because he'll have certain conversations that will go viral because of, clips and stuff that he said.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the way he said it, it'll go viral. But, I feel like just
We,
fundamentally the start of the conversation is what makes it hard,
yeah.
because you don't have to tear down other people
Mm-mm.
for you to be successful. And the thing that gets me is that the the dollar is a dollar, right?
Mm-hmm.
We like it's set. The dollar is a dollar,
Allegedly,
but
yeah.
I mean, for the sake of
Supposedly.
the argument,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, for the sake of the argument, if I loan you a dollar, you give me back a dollar. That a dollar is a dollar, right? But for people, what what has me is that, just like if a movie is good or not, it's very subjective, like
Right.
art.
Mm-hmm.
Because for some people, I'm the best thing ever. For other people, I am the worst thing walking.
Mm-hmm.
Value is very subjective because it depends on the services or products that you have that I could use to see if you are valuable or not.
Mm-hmm.
The connections that you may have that may be of use or benefit to me.
Mm-hmm.
And putting saying that someone is of high or low value, and putting this kind of arbitrary um, attachment of some kind of identity. Oh, like, oh, so high value. That means you get quality, you get this, you get that, and it's like
Hmm.
that's not always the
No,
case.
it's not.
It's not always the case. Just
Even if you're talking
because,
about products, you buy a new home that's new construction, costs $500,000, and then just like you see on TikTok, okay, wait, there's no vent in the bathroom. Like you have all these problems with it. So something may
right,
look good on the outside, something may meet all the requirements that you lay out initially on paper, and then you get into it and you start to pick that person apart. You start to pick that thing apart, and you see that it is really not working for you. It may work for other people. Maybe other people don't want a vent in their bathroom or something, but for you specifically, I don't know who would. By the way, for you specifically, it may not work for you. So if you're not digging deep to figure out the inner workings of something and figuring if that works for you in life, not even about whether it adds to your life or not, whether it enhances you in any kind of way or supplements you in any kind of way or complements you, then once you get down into it and you're like, it just doesn't work, then it makes it harder to get out of it
right.
whenever you're ready to. Plus, it's just an a-hole move to just say, oh, I'm high value, so you should want me because I make a certain amount of money. That's just stupid.
There's so much more that is, and I just had this conversation too. There's so much more to a relationship than resources.
Right.
There's a lot. People assume that, oh, like you said, it's so formulaic. If I do A plus B times C, then I'll get to my success, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be able to get there, no problem. But if your personalities don't match, or you're looking at, well, how come she's doing for him but not for me, or how come he's this person when he's with them, but he's not the same when he's with me. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I've even had, this conversation before of people who say, well, I want the kind of relationship that you have with X. No, you don't. Well, how come every time I see y'all laughing and talking and haha kiki, and I was like, and Baylor said it best. A lot of that laughter, a lot of the joy comes from pain,
Mm-hmm.
because in those relationships, I was like, you have to have hard conversations. There's going to be headbutting,
Mm-hmm.
but because you two realize that the problem is not between you, it's just something that you two have to face,
Mm-hmm.
and you two come out on the other side of it together. There's happiness, there's joy there, there's more enjoyment between each other. There's an understanding of
Mm-hmm.
how far you two can go and what lines you can and will not cross. So you can say, "Oh man, I want the." It's kind of like when people see the finished product
Right.
and say, "Oh, I can do that," or "I want that," and it's like, you don't know what happened behind closed doors. How many times this person cried? How many times this person had to start over? Or how many wrong doors they ended up going to before they got to the right one? How
Right.
many failures there were before there was success?
None of the process. It's all okay. This is the end product.
Right. Just replicating the end product is not going to gain you the experience of the journey. And trying to use formulas for people, like, yes, it works in sales, and
Yeah.
if you want that type of transactional relationship, go for it.
Yeah.
But if you want
Make it
something
your
of
intention.
substance, like,
Mm-hmm.
you can't say, well, if you do this for me, I'll do this for you. Because that kind of tit for tat doesn't work in long term relationships.
Right.
It just doesn't.
The president was impeached for tit for tat. For you rub my back. Like, come on. One of his impeachments. Not to get political, but it doesn't work in the long
If you
term.
do, can you do me a favor though? Like, I can do that if you do me a favor.
Look, come on. Come on. Come on, do it. You know you want to.
I mean, I feel like you help me out. Just grease the palm a little bit.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work in the long term. It gets you what you want, but it doesn't benefit the actual relationship in the long term. It hurts the relationship in the long term because then people get resentful. People hold grudges. I hold a grudge. Let's be real.
I
I'm being honest.
try. I try to hold grudges, but it's so much energy.
I can
I
teach
have
you.
to, and then I forget that I'm holding a grudge, and then when I remember, I relive the whole thing all over again,
Hmm.
and then I'm just like,
That's how you
oh,
do it. No,
I'm not
I don't
supposed to
hold
like you.
grudges. I forgive, but I don't. I think I've talked about this before. Like I don't put myself in the situation for people to repeat behavior.
Mm,
So I'm like, okay, yeah, you did something that was like completely against my um, moral compass. So yeah, okay, you apologize for it. That's great. That's good. That's all fine and dandy. But now there's a boundary here. So we're not about to chop it up and stuff. You good over there? I'm good over here. I'll nod at you on the way, but I wish you no ill will.
yeah,
But don't come over here.
let's just put some distance between us. We're not
Yeah,
enemies.
we're not
I'm not.
enemies.
I'm not out
We're
to get you.
just we're just neighbors who may wave at each other from down the street. I drive past your house every once in a while. Like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
And keep it pushing. So I don't hold a grudge. No, I'm a down the street neighbor. That's what I'm gonna call it from now on.
Are you holding a grudge against that person? I'm down. I'm down the street number from
I'm
that
holding a
person.
grudge against the sun blinding you yet again.
Listen, the sun came on very, very strong at the same time the ship was blowing the horn, and I was taken aback a little bit because I
Just
didn't know
getting
if I was going deaf and blind at the same time, or
you're just getting sensory assault, just
sensory
full on sensory
overload right
assault.
now. It's everything right now. But I wonder how long it takes from going from transactional to manipulative.
I don't think that it's a. I think it's either it's all in the same wheelhouse. Like it starts off the transaction starts off as a type of manipulation in the first place because, like you said, it goes back to that sales type thing, that persuasive mindset,
Hmm.
which in itself is manipulation. Manipulation has a negative connotation attached to it, but manipulation is manipulation. You're trying to convince somebody to do something to your benefit.
Right.
I think with any kind of transactional relationship, whether you think it's good, whether they think it's good, there's a degree of manipulation happening. I
Hmm.
think it's more of a question of whether it crosses into manipulation that only one party is benefiting from, or if it's done to the detriment of the other party. Hope that made sense.
No, I mean there are ethical bounds that I feel like people should adhere to
Mm-hmm.
when using any kind of sales tactic because you can cross into predatory behavior,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're taking advantage of lack of understanding the language or lack
Mm-hmm.
of understanding the process or ignorance to a certain aspect of it.
Right.
Especially if a salesperson is taking advantage of that, then yes. Or even if the person who's purchasing knows more about it than the salesperson does,
Mm-hmm.
taking advantage of that, right?
Yeah. Exploiting
Um,
whatever weakness you can identify.
exploitative. That's the word I was looking for.
I know. I got you.
Um, being being in that space, I feel like that's too much work to have to manipulate or
Right.
control or wow.
Like
It's just
manage your own life, right? Yeah, it just came back. On the plus
my
side,
eyebrows are
on the plus side is making your teeth look wonderful. Like you look
hot.
bright.
This is a lot. It's a lot of
It's a
sun.
lot.
I really want to close this shade, but then it's gonna be dark in here. But yeah, I feel like the when you start it, it's fine for like a sale or two here or there if you stay within the ethical bounds of whatever um contract or role that you're in, and you are able to conduct business in a way that would benefit both parties.
Right.
But in a romantic, familial, or even platonic relationship, professional or otherwise, it's
Hmm.
best to make sure that each party is aware of expectations and or boundaries that a person has.
Hmm.
What I can't stand is when people ask me, um, I'm trying to think of the phrasing, but they'll essentially ask me um, something, and I'll tell them no, I don't do X, not ecstasy, but like I don't do this thing.
Well, that too. She doesn't do
Yes,
ecstasy,
I don't do
as far as I know.
ecstasy. No,
That's
I'm
a
no,
weird
I have
disclaimer.
no intention because I was gonna say I don't do X, but then I was like, that can be taken a couple different ways.
I don't
But
do
I
X
don't
Y
do
Z.
whatever this thing is, the blah
Yeah,
blah blah,
don't do
in
B.
whatever capacity. That is
Hmm.
not my thing. I'm not a part of. I don't like that. And they'll say something like, "Oh, come on, just try it, just do it, just try it." And it could be something like beer. I am not a beer drinker.
Hmm.
Beer smells like it smells
It
terrible.
reminds me of no matter what, if I smell a beer, it takes me back to the year that I lived in the dorm. No matter what, it just smells like, oh, okay, I'm leaving this party now. That's what it smells like
It
when you're
just
walking out.
yeah, it smells like bad decisions and I'm just and peer pressure.
Hmm.
That's what it smells like. And I'm just like, there's no, I don't. And so some people are just like, hey, she doesn't like beer, whatever, no problem,
Right.
let's move on. Other people are like, chug, 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 chug. You
Oh,
need to
try
try,
this
you
one.
need to do it.
Well, you might
Let's
like
let's
this one.
figure out what your boundaries are so that we can push them and tell you that you don't need to have boundaries up.
Hmm.
I respect the people who realize that, oh, this is a boundary for me. I'm not going to cross it. If
Right.
you try to cross it, then we can be down the street neighbors. We don't even
Yeah,
have to be
see?
around the corner neighbors. I can probably go to another city. It's fine.
I
But I'm
see
gonna tell you
you.
this, there's going to be distance that's created. Don't I don't like the, oh, just try it, just do it. You have, or like when people are just like, have you eaten X food?
Hmm.
Oh, you don't like okra? You haven't had so and so's okra. I don't I don't care how okra is cooked.
Okay
Deep
on okra.
fried, baked, put in greens, or um not freeze dried. What is it called?
I don't know.
Dehydrated.
Is that a
Um
thing?
yeah, just
Dehydrated
like
okra?
yeah, or even okra chips.
Oh,
That
that
was
sounds
like
horrible.
that was the first time that I had okra. It was yeah, it was dehydrated.
That doesn't sound good. This doesn't look good. Sorry, I googled it. Sorry.
But don't try to force me into crossing boundaries or even give me ultimatums because it's just going to push me away.
Yeah, and create distance.
Yeah, because you don't you. I'm like, if it's either you stay here and I do this thing,
Hmm.
or you leave, leave.
Go.
Don't
That's fine.
even don't even if you
Go
think that
down the
you need to
street.
give me an ultimatum, just leave. Just leave. Don't do that. I don't like it.
Me either. The okra chips, sorry, not to go back. The okra chips
You're
looked like
still
an
looking at
ingredient.
this.
No, I closed it, but it looks like an ingredient. Like if that was your one experience with okra, I can see why you wouldn't want to eat that. I don't
even
like okra in
before
general.
even before that
It's just
experience with okra,
slimy.
I didn't there was nothing about okra that made me go, I want to try this.
I'd like to eat that.
Yes, there was
Give me one
nothing
okra.
there was nothing about okra that made me go, huh, I want to I
You
want to
know what?
see how that feels
You know
just
it's
rolling around in there.
the okra lobby is trying to get you. So you got to look out for the okra lobby. Big okra. Not to be confused with Big Oprah. She's not big, but you know.
I thought you were going to say orca.
Did you know her name was supposed to be Orpah when she was born? Like apparently it's a
Like in the
biblical name.
Bible?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I guess the nurse or somebody messed it up on her birth
Oh.
certificate.
That makes sense because I've only heard
She's
of
literally
Orpa.
one Oprah, right?
Yeah.
Like until she came along. But I digress. Yes, I don't like when people like Jordan is. Everybody knows Jordan doesn't drink. Jordan's my twin
Right.
brother. If you guys aren't haven't listened before, everybody knows Jordan doesn't drink. Every so often, there'll be like one person who is somewhat new that he's meeting or somebody or something, to where like they ask if he wants a drink or something, and he tells them like, "Oh no, I don't drink," and so they either try to push him to try it, or they ask him why they don't want to eat it. So that's another way of like pushing the boundary, is just like questioning your own choices and forcing you to explain yourself. But I don't like that. You don't like that. So I don't like that.
I don't think it's necessary.
No. Especially at our big age, right? Like we're past that. We're not in that space anymore where we need to explain our wants and what we choose to do. We've gone through that stuff. We've gone through the growing pains.
Right.
It's just accept people for where they're at, unless they're causing you harm. Like if you choosing to drink or something, or if you're choosing to eat okra chips by the handful, and Leah's sitting there just dragging you for eating the okra chips.
Oh, don't do that next to me. Why would you bring? I feel like the next person I meet is gonna just come out and have like a big old bag of pig skins and okra chips.
Oh God, not the pork rinds.
Oh gosh.
You know what I imagine? When you eat like a handful of the okra chips, like I would imagine that there's some rehydration that's happening that makes it like sticky or gummy or something in your mouth. Because whenever I think of okra, I always think of just like the, oh, you have to go through all these steps to cook it. Like you have to put it in a pot and cook it off so that it doesn't get all slimy and stuff, and then put it in whatever you're eating. It just seems like it's an ingredient. Yeah, it may have its purpose, but I didn't mean to go on an okra rant. I'm sorry. Now big okra is going to be looking for me.
I mm-mm. No, no,
No,
no, no, no.
it's a
It's funny though
hard pass.
that you mentioned as soon as you said Jordan doesn't drink, and I just remember us having a conversation and in college, and I was just like, yeah, like I was privileged enough to be able to have the conversation with him about
Hmm.
um because he said he
Yeah,
hadn't
he's
drank, and
never.
he was like, I don't think I'm going to. And I was like, oh, so are you going to be? And I had just learned that word like a week before. I was like, oh, are you going to be like a teetotaler now?
Hmm.
And he was just like, a teetotaler. And like we looked it up, and he was like, I might be,
Like I
I
guess
might
so.
be. And and like you said, like being a part of that experience and the growing pains, it's easy to articulate why you do what you do,
Hmm.
but as we get older and as we start expanding our social circle, the few people that do get the privilege of being in our presence, I think that it should just be understood and respected that there are experiences that we have had that make us the person that we are.
Hmm.
And those experiences come with, I'll do that again. I will never do that again. That could
Right.
be a maybe. And third time's a charm for this one.
Hmm.
And I feel like it should just be a respected thing of just something that is respected between people. If I met a person and they say they don't drink, or a person who says, well, I smoke weed every day, or a
Hmm.
person who says, um I never go to church, or I don't talk to my parents, or I don't really keep so and so friends around.
Hmm.
Whatever decision that is, by them, sharing that information, one, thank you for sharing, appreciate you.
Hmm.
But I now have a choice of being a part of this person's life or not,
Exactly.
depending on whatever the activity is and how much effect it's going to have on me and our relationship.
Right. Like you can't change people. You can change whether you have control over whether you want to be in whatever situation that they're a part of, whether good,
Hmm.
bad, or whatever. But I can't make you eat okra chips. Yes, I'm going back to the okra. I can't make you eat okra, but if I live, if I'm strong in my conviction of, okay, yeah, okra is, I live and die by okra,
Oh my
then
god.
I now have my choice whether to
Mm-mm.
keep you around in my circle or to cut you off because you don't want to eat okra, right? So that
Right.
goes with any situation. If you don't agree or something doesn't align with what you want from somebody
Hmm.
or to add to your circle or whatever, you're well within your rights to peace out and just go on your way. You can control whether you're a part of that situation, whether you're um, in their lives, but you can't turn around and try to convince somebody to do what you want them to do because you think it will be best for them. You can do what's best
Right.
for yourself. You can't convince somebody else to do what you think is best for them because it's their life. And again, I don't know if I said this earlier actually. I think I said this earlier in another conversation I had. You have enough to worry about trying to, well, I'm going to speak for myself. I have enough to worry about trying to manage my life and all my appointments and all my bills and everything and just my relationships with people. I have enough to manage on my own. Why would I want to manage yours and be in charge of your life and trying to convince you how to live your life? No
And this is a
offense.
whole this is a whole grown person.
Yeah,
They're
no
not a
offense.
sim that you get to control,
I love you. Like, I
but
love you through and through, but not enough to try to manage your life, to make your life better if you don't see or what make your life into what I think it should be. I should phrase it. Not
right.
even make your life better to try to change you or morph you into something that I think you should be. I don't have enough time for that.
I got life to live.
I'm trying to keep this together, keep all this right, right?
We're out here adulting. I need somebody to compliment, not somebody to raise, because
Right.
I'm not trying to raise another adult. Like, yes, if you want to come along for my journey, you like what I do, want to emulate it, we trade ideas
Can
and
I
better
claim
ourselves.
you on my taxes? Is the question. If I can claim you on my taxes, then I'll put in some work. If I can get some tax breaks, then we can talk. But
Outside of tax breaks,
outside of that, unless you're paying me a consultant fee or something, unless you're actively seeking that kind of feedback or that kind of um, dynamic, then it's not in my best interest or your best interest, listener, to try to go out and try to change people into who you think they should be, because it
right,
will. I don't want to call myself an expert. I'm not an expert, but 9 times out of 10, I can guarantee you it will only harm the relationship if you try to change people for your benefit. You try to
exactly.
manipulate people for your benefit.
It's not. It's never. It's never a good thing.
It
It's
never
never
turns out
worth it.
well, right?
It's never. I mean, it does for the short term, and you get like a
Yeah,
little buzz rush, but long term, will that person that you manipulated into staying with you over and over again save you from a burning building?
right. Or we're like, oh wow, the control, it's gone. I'm back in
I
control.
I hear my own thoughts. What?
No, that's just the person in the building screaming for help. Actually, it's not your own thoughts.
Yeah, I'm just saying like it's better to work to earn respect than to create some kind of fear. Like there was a story and I was just like this is so stupid. This person posted on Reddit about how her boyfriend would continuously tell her that she was funky in some he would just she would wake up and he would just be like gosh, go take a shower, or oh, go brush your teeth, or whatever, and she'd be like, what are you talking about? It
It's a
made
deal
her
breaker.
paranoid, right? And so she started asking random people in her circle, just like, do I at random times, like, am I okay? Am I fresh? Like, what's going on? She was like scheduling doctor's appointments and all this other stuff because she was like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm not smelling it. Like, what's going on? I'm so afraid of that. And she's like showering 3 times a day. So she finally asks him, what is up? Why do you keep telling me that? His response. His response was, his father said a way to keep a woman around is to make her believe that she stinks. And I was just like, there's so many wrong things in that statement because it tells me a lot about the way you think in a like there's just so
Okay.
many wrong things.
Okay.
So many wrong things.
Um,
I don't understand.
why stinks specifically?
Right. Just
Like,
like
smell is so personal. That's a direct assault to
right.
just gaslight somebody into believing that they're smelling, and then just pay all these copays and stuff to go to the doctor to get
Right.
it
I'm
checked
just
out.
like, and so she was like, "Yeah, now he's an ex." And I'm just like, there was no coming back from that. I was just like, how are you as an adult person following that? Like, has that worked?
I
What
hope
kind of
he,
manipulation tactic?
I hope he talked to his father because
I was like,
wait, is
this
the
is
father
dumb.
even with the mother? Like, I wonder if they were even still married. I know you can't answer that. You're not there, but
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know these people,
thank
but I
goodness.
just I thought that was a wild story. I was
Right?
like,
Like, there's a lot to unpack there. Like, okay, one, are you going to take relationship advice from somebody? I'm betting that the father is divorced because I'm sure his mom would have heard the dad mention that at some point. It would have come up at some point. Like, oh, yeah, I kept your mom around because I said she was funky. Like, right?
I just don't understand it. That is the
Right?
wildest form of manipulation, and it's so crazy. It's so crazy. Like I don't know if it's like messing with their self-esteem, with their confidence or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, but I'm just like,
Like negging or something.
yeah, that's such a wild thing. But
Yeah,
yeah,
there's not a,
that's
the dots aren't connected there. I'm not,
no, it's no,
no.
that's wild. But thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Take Up Space Podcast. I am going to end this episode before the sun eats me alive. Um, just I feel like this sun is just not. And the sad thing is the shades are like all or nothing. There's no dial on the
You
shades.
get
So it's either the full sun,
the
the
power
full
of the
weight,
sun in your face,
yes, or no
the dark
sun at
side of the
all.
moon.
Yes, that's it. So, but thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Tip Space Podcast. I'm your host, Leah. Thank you so much, Jason. Do you have anything that
Thank
you
you.
would like to plug?
Sure, you guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, as they call it, at JJ underscore Newberry with
I
the
like how you
English
raise your
accent.
eyebrow every time you say underscore. It's
Yeah,
like you have
see?
to pause to think about that for a second because it's
Because
not
I
an
do.
underdash.
I'm not going to say what you said earlier, remember? And because I promised I wouldn't say it again. So I won't do it. I won't.
I
Like I
thank you
said,
for that.
underdash. I said underdash once, almost 2 years ago.
But you said it though. And then you almost was like that's what it is and I said but it's an underscore
I was
cuz it's
completely
actually a
unsure of the
hyphen.
situation. Yes,
It's a
yes,
hyphen, not a dash cuz a dash is
yes,
longer than a
yes.
hyphen
I
and it's
know.
under.
Because you
So
have
it
your
would be more of
dashes,
an under hyphen and
you
not
have
an
your
under
dashes,
dash.
and your M dashes and stuff. Which reminds me, sorry, not to bring something else up. I need to get a punctuation book. Did you? No, you got me a punctuation book, didn't you? You got me a grammar book.
I got you the grammar book and the etymology book.
Yeah, okay. I need to get a punctuation book.
The punctuation book is still up there, I think.
I think so. I might order
Yeah.
it this weekend. But yeah, follow me. Instagram, Twitter. There's a TikTok out there too. I'm not in it. Like, I don't make anything, but you can follow me. Maybe it'll give me some incentive to join it. Same thing. Basically, JJ underscore Newberry. You'll
All
find me on
social
all the
media.
socials there. Yep.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And after following Jason, please make sure to follow us at Take Up Space Pod. That's Take Up Space Pod on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And also make sure to subscribe to our YouTube, putting videos out every week, and doing some really good things on the Champions of Discourse side. So I'm looking forward to like showing everybody my stuff that well not that stuff, but like the works that I've created. The
She
works
doesn't
that
do
I've created.
X. She doesn't do
Yeah.
X.
I don't
She's
do
not going to show
that
you the
stuff
stuff.
either. Yeah, but I have some pretty cool stuff. I've been working on some speeches and certifications, and I'm just like, oh, this is gonna be great. So I would appreciate all of you all support. Thank you so much. Please make sure you share this with a friend if you think that you can help ease into the conversation of manipulation. If you're being manipulated, we got you. We'll help
We
you.
got you.
Yes. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. I'm not going to be eaten by the sun anymore. We're going to go ahead and be out this piece. Have a great one.